How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the Tressa's Collectibles channel. Randall, aka Shizukat's here, and today we're going to be jumping into the Set 2 for Oshi no Ko. Definitely a much anticipated release. This set has been available in Japanese for, I think, around a year now, and competitively it's been doing quite well. So for you competitive-minded players, I'm sure you're more than excited to jump into this set. And as far as the material for Volume 2 of Oshi no Ko, as expected, this is going to be jumping into material from the second season of the anime. So we're going to be getting into stuff like the Tokyo Blade arc and some more B-Komachi cards as their stories develop. And there's a lot of really cool new strategies, and stuff is going to be diverging a little bit from what you guys might be used to from the first set in terms of like which characters are going to be paired with which characters in terms of their overall strategies. Like for example, because of the like Tokyo Blade stuff, there's going to be a lot of synergy between the red and blue cards, with Kana and Akane actually becoming one of their own decks that has some stuff that is like designed around it. And that is also going to be the main deck that we're going to be looking at upcoming on the channel. So if you guys are looking forward to a competitive deck profile, be sure to stay tuned for that. We're going to be covering everything that you need to know about that deck. As far as our opening, we're going to be going with the usual 2 booster boxes, and normally this is where we would highlight the playmat, but this is the Set 1 playmat that was a case topper bonus from the Set 1 booster boxes. Unfortunately for Set 2, there was no carton topper bonus, at least not that we have found in our cartons. So that is a little bit unfortunate, but if you guys do want a nice official Oshi no Ko playmat, be sure to check out this stitched edge case topper playmat from the first set. Now, as far as the ratios in this set, we're going to be looking at the usual per box ratios, expected anyway, of 3 to 4 double Rs per box and 3 foils per box. And then the expected case ratios for this set are going to be 2 SPs and 1 SSP per sealed case of booster boxes, in addition to up to 1 even higher rarity card, which can be either a RRR plus, which are the frameless climaxes that have the like silver symbols, silver text. We're going to be going back to silver compared to the last RRR plus set we've looked on the channel, which was Makein. Makein had the gold stamps. And you can also get a secret plus, which are going to be quite rare. By JP estimates, you're looking at 1 secret plus per 9 sealed cases, and I assume that for English it's going to be roughly around the same rarity. And those look really, really nice. If you happen to pull the Aqua and Ruby secret plus, I believe that one is a double signature. Hold on, we actually have one right here. We can take a sneak preview at it real quick. Whoa. So that is going to be a double. It is a double character signature, so it's not a voice actor signature, but it still looks really, really nice. It has aquas in blue and rubies in red, very fitting for these 2 characters. And this card is also extremely playable, so I would expect that to be the biggest chase from the set, in addition to a couple of the RRR plus climaxes. Now, anyways, I've yapped on enough about the set as a whole. Let's get into the box opening itself. Now, this is a set that I personally was testing quite a lot around the time it came out in JP. Big reason that I wanted to do a lot of testing on this set was because of the Kana PR Plus that came as the Japanese equivalent of the Meister Cup promo. And so I would expect that to be a Meister Cup promo in English as well. So be on the lookout for that in your local tournament scene, as that promo is super pretty. I paid a lot of money for that promo because I couldn't win it myself. For our first box, going first card is going to be the Eye Sleeping. I believe this one is the art that is used on a promo version of the 2-1 anti-overlevel counter Aqua from Set 1. I don't think it is currently announced or available in English, as it was a magazine promo, I think. I'll go ahead and throw a picture of it on screen now so you guys can take a look at it, assuming I even have the right card. But yeah, in JP, they do have that as a promo art. Hopefully English will get that at some point as well, so we can play a pretty foil eye anti-overlevel counter. Let's get into our first pack. So, as with the first set, this is only going to be a 3-color set. It's going to be yellow, red, and blue, with yellow being dominantly the B-Komachi cards, and red and blue going to be a wide variety of characters, including characters from the cast of Tokyo Blade. And we're immediately hitting our first foil, and it's a really, really good one. It's going to be the 3/2 Akane as Princess Saya, Sayahime. And so this one is actually going to be a climax combo changer into the double R Akane 3/2. So I guess we'll just set this one aside and hopefully bring out the 3/2 double R Akane later so we can talk about the whole package. It is quite involved, especially considering that this 3/2 Akane package also ties into a level 1 Kana combo. There's just a lot of stuff that is quite involved in this set. So we'll take a look at those in a bit. This uncommon is one of Simu's favorite cards from the set. I know he really likes this card. It is a level 0 Ruby, and as with a lot of the yellow B-Komachi cards, it does use the experience requirement, which requires you to have higher level cards in your level zone. In this card's case, it needs experience 3, and then you can rest this to give one of your characters 2,500 power until end of turn, which is quite a substantial power boost. And then additionally, this card says you can pay 1, discard a show business character from hand, and rest this to look at up to 3 cards from the top of your deck, pick any card from among them, even a climax or event, add it to your hand without showing your opponent what card you added, and then put the rest into your waiting room. So it can be a 2,500 pump or a filter, performing double duty, really, really solid card, and fits well into the experience package strategy. Our first rare is going to be Aqua in his Tokyo Blade role as Toki. So this is an on-play top check X, where X is the number of characters you have, and then on attack you can pay 2, ditch 2 to burn 2 to your opponent. So a solid off-climax option that can also dig through the top cards of your deck in order to try to find an important climax for your late game turn. If you want to run this card, I would say it's pretty solid as just like a one-of. You can have it in your hand as kind of insurance for if you don't draw the climax naturally, and then you can just use it, incorporate it as part of your finish your turn. Just solid card overall. Here we have Melt's level 1 combo. I believe this one is like it gives a character cannot be reversed. Yeah, so when you play the climax, if you have a full board of 5 show business characters, this gains... this card cannot become reversed, and this gets really big on attack, and it's on a door climax. Not the most exciting climax combo, but it's here. Kana got the Suisei drop salvage, for those of you who are familiar with that from Hololive. A new event that can go to memory to use if you want to play the set 1 Ruby deck. And our first double R is going to be the Kana. So this is going to be a premier level 1 combo for the set, just a really, really strong card overall. Combos with a door. On attack, if you have 3 or more other show business characters, you can look at up to 4 cards from the top of your deck and add a show business character from among them to your hand. Very similar to the set 1 Aqua Pants combo. The set 1 Aqua combo can also grab events in addition to characters, but the Kana does come with an additional upside. If you grab a level 2 or higher character off of the top check 4, you can additionally top check 3 and then rearrange them in any order. So this not only allows you to determine what your trigger is going to be, maybe your next multiple triggers, but it also helps you manipulate the top card of your deck to maybe have a guaranteed cancel coming up, or an interaction with the brainstorm that is used with both the Kana and Sayahime Akane combos. Let's see. This uncommon Kana is an early play heal that requires 2 or more copies of herself already in waiting room, and then she can be early played, and then on play, you discard a card to heal 1, and then salvage a copy of this Kana from your waiting room to your hand. I saw this card see a little bit of play when the set came out, but I wasn't really convinced that it was any good, because I don't like the idea of having to discard a card just to get the heal 1. If you don't have 2 copies of Kana in your waiting room, like for example, if you're just at level 3 and you don't need to early play her, so you don't need the early play condition of needing 2 copies in waiting room, then it would just feel really bad to discard a card just to heal 1. That seemed pretty bad to me. It did float around a little bit here and there, though. Oh, and for our rare, we have one of the star cards of the strategy, the Kana and Akane strategy, which is going to be the level 0 Akane. So this card says you can discard a card and sack this from your board in order to free summon a level X or lower character from your hand for free, where X is your level. And so basically, this card is like a super hand to stock. So let's just compare it to like a normal hand to stock, where you play the card and then you put a card from hand to stock. So you have taken one card from hand and put it into stock, but now you have this card, this hand to stock that's on your board, right? And so you need to do something with it. If it's on your finisher turn, then that usually means you're going to play over it and it was kind of wasted. So you turned 2 cards into just 1 stock. But the reason this Akane is really, really powerful is because she essentially allows you to turn 2 cards into 2 stock. So it might seem a little bit convoluted, but that's just kind of the way that I think of the card, and it makes it much more efficient on your actual finisher turn than just a normal hand to stock profile. And a lot of the level 3 game for this particular deck archetype is going to revolve around basically abusing this card and having a ton of cards in hand in order to be able to play the game with a fairly low stock threshold. And I think that is a part of what makes the meta build quite powerful, is the ability to abuse this card. I have said in the past on my socials that I think that Oshi was like just barely on the border of potentially getting hit in the Japanese format. And as far as the cards that I think would be potentially involved in a restriction list for Oshi, this is one of the cards that I think potentially could have gotten hit. But obviously, at the time of recording, Oshi has not gotten hit. So, yeah, pretty good. You have the Mysterious Girl. She just shows up out of nowhere. And then her event card, though, is like really ordinary, to be honest. It's just a cigarettes event. So, not very mysterious event for a mysterious character. Okay. We have a new Kana that gains a choice climax gains a choice trigger while you have a choice climax in the climax area. I don't think this set had a shuffle back 2 though in order to help abuse this. Feel free to correct me in the comments if I'm wrong on that though. Our next rare is going to be the Memcho level 2 killer. This is a card that I experimented with here or there. This card could potentially be really good in a format where level 2s are really strong. So like maybe if this released around when Muron was still running super rampant in the English format, this card could have maybe seen quite a lot of play. Not only does this card have the level 2 killer effect, but it can also serve as a level swapper, which can be really useful for those experience-based decks. B-Komachi decks, because those are the ones that are going to be using experience the most. But this card does swing quite high. It can get to 12k without a climax, as long as you fulfill the experience requirement. This level 0 Kana is a very unsuspecting card, but has seen a rise in play in Japan as on-reverse level 1 advantage combos started to become a lot more prevalent, namely decks like Gakuen Idolmaster, and more recently, Standby Overlord. Those are probably 2 of the most prominent on-reverse combos right now. And this card is a runaway runner, or not a runaway runner, a back row runner, where the cost is you sacrifice one of your other characters at the beginning of your opponent's attack phase. So this allows you to free up 2 lanes at the same time by sacrificing one of your characters and then moving the Kana to the back row. And so you can really just annoy the crud out of your opponent by just having this just run all over the place. If you combine this with the level 0, double R Kana from this set, which is a runaway runner, then you basically have free reign over the entire front row to just make it so that your opponent cannot reverse you no matter where you go. So could be a really strong combination. Additionally, this card gets really, really huge on offense. During your turn, this gets plus 1,000 for each of your other show business characters, allowing her to go up to a massive 5,500 power on a level 0 body if you have a full board of characters. So very, very powerful card. Often usually only seen as like a 1 of, maybe 2 of, but an overall very strong card. Another card that sees some fringe plays, this 2/1 Kana. When this is placed on stage from hand, if you have less stock than your opponent after paying the cost of 1, then you get to blind stock 1, so she can potentially just come in for free, basically. And then when your other show business character attacks, she gets 1,000 power times the number of your other show business characters. So she could potentially get a 4K boost twice if she attacks last, allowing her to attack for up to 14,500 power. Really, really strong card. Although, because it needs to attack last to have the highest damage potential, usually you will only see people running one copy of this card, and then just having the other two lanes be two other cards. Here's a pretty strong uncommon, the 2/1 Akane. So this card says when you play a climax, you get to give two of your characters 2,500 power cross turn. This can be useful just for allowing you to break your opponent's big board, but also protecting your high defensive power characters. Like, for example, you could use this at level 2 to buff your level 1 Kana combos to swing overboard, or you could use it at level 3 to defend your Akane combos, so that if your opponent tries to kill you and then you survive their finisher turn, you will probably still have your Akanes on board to go for another turn afterwards. We have a new Climax Swapper from deck, this level 0 Akane. It sacks a character instead of paying one stock like the level 0 Clean Cut Trial deck Climax Swap. That was the Ruby from set 1. And then here we have a pretty interesting card. So this is a 1/1 Aqua and Ruby. It climax combos with one of two standbys. And so similar to set 1, in set 1 we had, I believe it was a 1/0 Aqua and a 2/2 Ruby that both climax comboed with two climaxes. So basically made it so that you could just play 8 climaxes and have all of them climax combo with any of your climax combo characters. This set also does the same thing with 2 new climaxes. So this Aqua and Ruby, you can basically play 8 standby, and this Aqua and Ruby will combo with any climax. And when you look at the actual climax combo card by itself and you try to evaluate it against other climax combos, it seems very underpowered. So let's read the card real quick. So this card says, if you have a card in memory, this gets 500 additional base power, bringing it up to 5k. And then during your turn, it gets 2,500 power and Hand Encore. And then the climax combo is when this card's battle opponent becomes reversed, you salvage a character. Obviously, if you just look at this card in the lens of a climax combo, it seems very underpowered. Like, if you compare it to a card like the Nino 1/1, the Nino 1/1 seems absolutely ridiculous by comparison. And the way I evaluate it is, I think that Nino is way stronger than it should be. And I think that comparing it to Nino is kind of unfair because Nino's just that cracked. But when you think about it this way, imagine if this card, instead of having climax combo text, imagine if this card said, like, if you have any climax in play and you just happen to be playing like this standby climax lineup, then the card seems like a lot better. I don't know if that makes sense, but basically, like, I just feel like this card is like a lot better than I think people give it credit for. It's just very solid. It does what it needs to do. It can stick around on board with Hand Encore and swing for like 7,500 power turn after turn. And then you can play any climax, assuming you're playing the 8 standby climax lineup. And then you can just repeatedly get advantage. And it's very simple, and it might seem weak, but it gets the job done. And I think that there can be deck archetypes that are built around that. Okay. Here we have another memory card. I don't think this one's very good, unfortunately. Oh, here's another really good new Ruby utility card. On play, pay 1, and then discard a show business character to look at up to X cards from the top of your deck and add one of them to hand, where X is the number of characters your opponent has. So you could very easily just start your plays with this, and if your opponent has 5 characters on stage, then you have a lot of options. Go through up to 5 cards at the top of your deck. Usually with effects like these, it tracks the number of characters you have, and so that is a lot worse because it means you have to commit multiple characters on your board before you can even use this card if you want to have more options. But I really like this card as a utility option. Our next double R is going to be the Kana Runner. This is the one that I talked about earlier when I brought up the Kana Back Row Runner. So this Kana Runner, she gains 1,500 power during your turn as long as all of your characters are show business, and also gains the effect where when she reverses her battle opponent, you must salvage a show business character from your waiting room and then discard a card. So this card is just really, really solid. It has 3,500 power during your turn and then can hand fix. If you open this card, it allows you to aggressively mulligan things that you normally wouldn't mulligan because you can very easily get them back using this effect. And then just run away on your opponent's attack phase if you don't have a full front row. Normally with effects like this, where with this on reverse, salvage a character, discard a card, normally you would have to be afraid of your opponent potentially crashing into it and then you having no waiting room. Like for example, if you're about to refresh and your opponent notices that you have this kind of effect on board, they can crash into your character, force you to discard a card, even though you get to keep the character. But thankfully, this card only gains that effect on your turn. So as long as you're paying attention and you don't reverse your opponent's character while you have no waiting room, you won't be forced to randomly go -1. But yeah, this card in conjunction with the level 0 Kana can be quite strong. So let's say, for example, like this is our front row. We have these 3 characters. You can use Kana's effect, sacrifice this character, run to back row, and then Kana can just run wherever she wants. And you just have completely free reign over what your opponent can or can't reverse. Our next uncommon is going to be the Kana Restander. This is basically Kronstadt from Azur Lane. It just doesn't have the power gain effect. And yeah, I mean, it's just a pretty solid off-climax finisher option. Requires a full board. At the end of the attack, pay 2, ditch 1, sack a character, and restand. A solid card. Let's see. And our next rare is going to be the Kana level 0. So this card says on play, you can pay 1, clock a show business character from your waiting room to bottom of clock, to top check up to 2, add up to 2 characters from among them to your hand, send the rest to waiting room. So this can be a pretty nice way to just get a whole bunch of cards into your hand. And then you can also discard a card and sacrifice this card in order to choose one of your opponent's characters and move it to another slot on stage. This can be quite useful in standby decks, in my opinion. Quite good in conjunction with the Aqua and Ruby 1/1 because this on-play effect will give you a lot of hand ammunition to just use on hand encores to keep this on the board. And additionally, with a standby deck, typically you're going to have a very high power board, both offensively and defensively. So when your opponent crashes into your board, you can use this card's effect in order to drag up your opponent's back row to the front row and then get rid of their utility cards. Of course, this card can be usable in any Oshi no Ko deck. Raw advantage is raw advantage, after all. Oh boy, 2/1 Toki Aqua. This is a card that is very infamous amongst my local scene. So this card is 10k if you have a full board, and then Climax combo with a Pants Climax. Your opponent mills X cards from the top of their deck into their waiting room, where X is the number of show business characters you have times 4. So if you have a full board, and 1 copy of this will... foil spoiler. If you have 1 copy of this, your opponent will mill 20 cards, and if you have 3 copies of this, your opponent will mill 60. And so, in a way, this card is kind of dealing damage. It's kind of a finisher, where you are dealing unavoidable refresh point damage to your opponent, while also just completely throwing their compression plan out of whack. So, like, if they had a really compressed deck and they were expecting to cancel multiple times that turn, this Aqua is just going to completely shut that down, and it just completely throws the entire game into chaos, and it's just a complete coin toss as to whether or not your opponent will cancel your upcoming attacks. And so this card is unexpectedly potent, and the fact that this card is also 10k power, especially if you combine it with like the 2/1 Akane, you can have your board be quite large on both offense and defense, and then maybe even go for another set of the Aqua turn again on a future turn because it is Pants Climax, and you could just get it back and do it all over again and deal even more unavoidable refresh point damage to your opponent. So yeah, very infamous card amongst my local scene. A lot of local tops by some of my local players with this particular combo. And our next foil is going to be Vanilla Melt. There is a synergy with this particular foil card. It's not particularly good, so unfortunately this is probably one of the most dud foils that we could have gotten. Melt, though, definitely has his glow up in Season 2 compared to Season 1. Season 1, he just kind of acted like a weirdo during that one episode. Just like really entitled and snobby and yeah, whatnot. Our next rare is going to be the 2/1 Akane. This is a bouncer. On play, you can discard a card, top check 4, add a character from among them to your hand, and then you can sacrifice this in order to bounce one of your opponent's characters. Oh, here we have the normal version of the melt. Uh, 2-1 Sumiaki minus soul counter. Just a very solid option to throw into your decks. It can be useful in a choice deck that can just get this back easily. A door deck can get this back easily. And even pants decks can actually get this back quite easily. I actually forgot to talk about the Akane's other effect now that I think about it. The Akane's other effect is when you trigger a climax, you can discard a climax in order to salvage any character from your waiting room. So even in pants decks, this gives you fairly easy access to this counter. If you trigger pants, you just immediately discard it for the effect, and then you can grab the Sumiaki counter from your waiting room and then have it to use on your next turn. Very solid card. And here we have the level 1 Akane combo. This one is very similar to John from Ruby, for those of you who are Ruby enthusiasts. At the start of your climax phase, you can choose one of your characters, give it 1500 power until end of turn. As opposed to the John, which is on attack, I believe you can give 2k anywhere. But this one does not require this card to attack first. In fact, this also means that it can apply the power boost from the back row. And just like John, this card can also climax combo from the back row. When you play her pants climax, this Charm of Stage plays, if you have another character, you can choose one of your other characters and give it on reverse. Wait, other characters? I thought this card could give to itself. Am I crazy? Hold on one sec. Okay, nope, this card does target other characters. I don't play this deck personally. A lot of my friends do, but yeah. So choose one of your, when you play the climax, choose one of your other characters and it gains on reverse search. So you can just play 2 of these in your back row and then maybe even have like a third or even a fourth one in your front row. You just stack all of the reverses onto a single character, and then as long as you can secure that one reverse, you are able to get a whole bunch of searches. And then because she's a pants climax, it's fairly easy to get the climax back again to go for another round. And then you can just repeatedly spam this combo over and over again while this card sits in your back row. Very nice card. Doesn't see as nearly as much play as the Kana level 1. Kana is definitely the most dominantly played level 1 combo from the set, but this one definitely should not be underestimated. This 3-2 Akane I think is quite good for a common. If you have 2 or less climaxes, it is an early play, and then on play you can sack one of your other characters in order to draw 2 cards. Ooh, and our third foil is going to be level 0 Memcho. This is a card that I think is quite good in the B-Komachi decks, the ones that can accommodate the experience requirement. So let's talk about the second effect first. So the second effect is when this is placed on stage from hand, if you have experience 2 or more, you can discard a show business character in order to summon any cost 0 character from your waiting room. So obviously this does not allow you to summon like level 1s at level 0, as you need experience 2, which means you need to have a card in level zone, which means you need to be level 1. But it is a pretty strong card. It just allows you to like bring out your climax combos just from your waiting room. You can just take any random card from your hand, any random character that is from your hand, and you can just turn it into a climax combo. And then the other effect of the Memcho is when she's placed on stage from hand, you can choose one of your other show business characters and give it 2,000 power until end of turn. And what's really cool about this card is that you can order them in whatever way you want. So you can use the second effect first, summon out whatever card you want, like maybe level 1 combo, and then you can give the 2k buff to the card that you just summoned. So I think it's a really, really powerful utility card overall. And I definitely encourage you guys to try this card out in your B-Komachi based decks. Oh, here we have Abiko, the author of Tokyo Blade. And she is going to have a card that okay, basically she blows up the board. That's the short version of this card. She blows up the board, and then both players heal 3. There is an, I think, what is her name? I think her name is Yoriko. There is a Yoriko that allows you to early summon this. So we'll take a look at the Yoriko when it comes up. And then we have this level 2 Ruby. This is a card that amongst my local scene is starting to see a little bit of experimentation, not only in Oshi no Ko, but also in other decks like Idolmaster, Million Live, and Gakuen Idolmaster. It also sees use. It's basically an on reverse Icy Tail 4 by paying 1 and discarding 1, and it swings for 11k, so pretty big. And if you just need that Icy Tail at level 2, you can push additional damage and then maybe catch your opponent off guard in a situation where they thought that they had some guaranteed cancels incoming. So it could be a really strong card to just like kind of throw off the tempo of the game and throw your opponent off balance. Level 0 Ruby, on play top check, if it is a character, you can give a character 2k, and then you can pay 1 sack this to top check 4, add a character. Solid utility card. We still have some double Rs that we haven't seen yet. Level 3 Memcho. This is an early play minus soul and salvage combo, and the early play condition is you need to have a copy of her in level. This one, yeah. For our rare, level 0 Memcho. So this one is a global 500, and then you can pay 1, rest this to search your deck for a show business character. I've experimented with this card a little bit. I definitely think it's playable. The art is definitely very, very funny. Here we have the 2 climaxes that go with the level 1 Aqua Ruby. So we have the Ruby version, Fallen Star of the Night, and then we have the Aqua version in Ordinary Happiness. And for all intents and purposes, they are the exact same climax, but you can run 4 of each. So you can see some 8 standby strategies revolving around those 2 climaxes. Coming up on the channel, later in our gameplay block, we are actually going to be showcasing a deck that runs both of these climaxes, but alongside a 3rd climax. So it'll be a 6-2 lineup. So stay tuned for that if you guys are excited to see some standby gameplay. This is oh, this card's also quite good. Dude, there's so many good level 0 utility cards in this set that, like, the set is just so full of already good level 0 utility cards that you can't, like, fit them all into one deck. But this Memcho is on play, gain 3k, and then when this is placed on stage from hand, if you have experience 2, you get to look at up to 2 cards from the top of your deck, choose up to 1 card from among them, add it to hand, and then discard a card. So this doesn't even require you to, like, commit the discard first. You can even just add one of the 2 to your hand and then immediately discard it. So it can act as like a mill 2. But also, you do not have to show your opponent what card you added. And then additionally, you can add any type of card, be it a climax or event, in addition to character. So really, really strong card. Oh, here's the Yoriko. So this Yoriko says on play, I believe, you can, yeah, on play, you can discard a show business character to search your deck for Abiko. And then you can pay 1 and discard 2 cards and rest this card. If your level is 2 or higher, you summon Abiko from your hand, and then Abiko will blow up the board, and then both players heal 3. And then when this card becomes reversed, you put this card back into your hand. And so this can be a really, really good blowout card in specific matchups. Like maybe if you're against Standby, you could use this against Standby, blow up their entire board. Could potentially also be useful against decks like, what's it called? Nazarick, in English name, you know. It could also be really good against Nazarick. If your opponent develops the full Ainz board and whatnot, you just be like, nope, you're gone. But it's ultimately a pretty niche combination of cards, but has potential to be quite powerful. Also, if you happen to just be at level 2 still, and you push your opponent to level 3 first, and then they do that thing where like they commit their level 3 combos onto the board just to use them as healers, and then they hide them in the back row, and then you just blow up their entire board, it's just like absolutely devastating. Oh, level 1 Aqua. This is a card that's going to be seeing a lot of play in a lot of builds. Both the meta build as well as like the pants builds that use the Akane level 1 can all utilize this card. So it has the on-play Rico effect, which we already have in Oshi no Ko on the level 0 Akane from set 1. But this is going to be a level 1 Rico. So Rico being on play, discard a card, reveal the top card of your deck, and then salvage a level X or lower character, where X is the level of that revealed card. And then this also has the secondary ability of when this attacks, if you have 4 or more other characters, you get to give one of your characters 1500 power. And so a big reason why this card sees use over the level 0 Rico, the Akane Rico, I would say is twofold. So one reason being this deck really already wants to run a lot of really strong level 0s, as I've been saying pretty much this entire opening so far, is that a lot of the level 0s in Oshi no Ko are really, really strong. And the thing is, the more 0s you run, the weaker the Rico effect gets, if that makes sense. Like, if you run like 30 0s, like you're going to be revealing tons of 0s off the top of your deck with this effect. But if you run like 17 or 18 0s, it's going to be much easier to reveal level 1s and higher that you can actually widen your range of cards that you can salvage. Another reason that I think that this card is run is kind of sort of the same thing, in the same vein as the first reason. There is a new level 0 Ai that has the Fukujiro effect. And the Fukujiro effect is when she dies, you can discard... Okay, first of all, when she is sent from stage to waiting room... I might have just triggered some people, sorry. When she is sent from stage to waiting room, you can discard a card and then look at up to 4 cards from the top of your deck and add a level 1 or higher from among them to your hand, and then send the rest to waiting room. And then you can send the eye to memory as well, but that's not the important part. The point is that you want more level 1 and higher cards in order to increase the hit rate of eye, or rather decrease the fail rate, so that you can actually like find a card amongst her top check 4. And so having this Aqua as an option just allows you to up the rate of 1 and higher and lower the rate of 0s in your deck for multiple payoffs. And so, yeah, it's a very, very simple card in practice, but it's quite significant in execution why we actually run this card. And our rare is going to be a level 1 Ruby. This one is... it works with any choice climax. If you play a climax with a choice icon, this gets 500 power, and then on attack, you reveal the top card of your deck. If it is level 1 or higher, you add it to stock. Not a particularly useful card. The card that you would most like this to be used with is the Kana, but the Kana's on a door, so that's a little bit unfortunate. Okay, our next double R is going to be Memcho. This is very similar to the Itsuki combo from Quintessential Quintuplets. Where the combo is experience 2, on attack, you discard 1, top check up to 3, add up to 3 show business characters. So if you are able to actually reveal 3 hits on the top, each copy of this combo can be a +2, which is very powerful. However, this is obviously very polarizing, where if you reveal a bunch of climaxes, then you might not even get a plus at all. You might just go discard 1 to add 1 card. And so this card can be very polarizing in that if you cancel a lot of your damage in the early game, then it means that this Memcho combo is going to be seeing a lot of characters off of the top check. But if you take a ton of damage in the early game, this Memcho is going to be significantly worse. You're going to be seeing a lot of climaxes off those top checks. Another difference between this and the Itsuki combo is that Itsuki does have the benefit of back row that increases your hand size up to 9 or even more. Like realistically, it's going to be 9 because you put 2 of them in your back row. But this Memcho unfortunately does not have that benefit, making it quite a bit weaker. You are limited to that normal 7-card hand size limit. Granted, the finisher in this deck does not require like a trillion hand like it does in the Itsuki deck, so that is a bit of a balancing point. Okay. Our rare is going to be a 2/1 Aqua. This one is designed to be used in the Kana and Akane deck. A lot of cards in that deck have abilities that have to do with the front row center slot. And this Aqua is no different. This card says the character in the front row center slot gains 1500 power times its own level. So if you have like a level 3 there, it's going to gain 4500 power. And then at the beginning of the opponent's attack phase, you can choose one of your show business characters and move it to the front row center slot. And basically the idea of this card is to, not the idea of this card, the idea of the like front row center slot idea is, I guess, like who's supposed to be the star of the show at any given point. Being the front row center stage character. At least that's my interpretation of it. Here we have the Kamoshida that goes with the melt, and so this one needs to marker the melt in order to gain in order to go up to 8,000 power. Not particularly great. Ooh, we do have a 4th double R though. We have level 0 Aqua, a very, very strong double R. I would say this is the 2nd most sought after double R of the set. Can be used in pretty much any deck. On play, you can pay 1 and clock a show business character from your waiting room to the bottom of your clock in order to search your deck for a level 1 or lower character and add it to your hand. So this is the long-awaited main phase Ricky that Oshi has been waiting for, since in the first set, all we had was the I Ricky that needed to get reversed, which means you needed to wait until your attack phase to even use it. So this Aqua does allow you to forcefully level yourself up during your main phase, as does the level 0 Kana that we looked at earlier. Either of these are very useful options that get you additional advantage and can boost you up in level. This one is just a very simple 2,500 power on your turn, Ricky. It's just a very, very simple card and allows you to set up your early game with things like level 1 combos and brainstorms that you don't have yet. And additionally, being able to clock a character from your waiting room means that you can not only secure color, but it also potentially allows you to secure experience in decks like the B-Komachi deck, which require higher level cards in your level zone. And for our final rare, oh, here we go, level 0 Kana Brainstorm. So this is a really important card in the Kana Akane strategy. First of all, it is a brainstorm that only works with these two climaxes. It only works with Superstars Acting, which is Kana's Door, and Wound Shifting Scabbard, which is the Akane Pants. It is a brainstorm 5, and then for each of those two climaxes you see in those 5 cards, you get to salvage a character. Really, really powerful. It basically just allows you extra reach and gaining additional advantage, and also a little bit of additional mill as well. And then the other ability of this card is at the beginning of your attack, at the beginning of your opponent's draw phase, you reveal the top card of your deck if you have a character in your front row center slot. And if that revealed card is a level 2 or higher card, you get to return that front row center slot character back to your hand. So like, let's say, for example, this is here. What you can do with the Kana is you can attack with it, use Climax Combo, and then let's say within your top check, you see a level 2 or higher, you add it to hand, and then with the second part of the combo, you get to top check 3 and rearrange, and you see a level 2 among them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to order the cards on top of my deck like this. I will trigger the non-level 2, and then at the start of the opponent's draw phase, I will reveal the level 2 because I put it there, and then this gets to go back to my hand for free. So you just get free advantage. And then imagine if this card was also a climax, you get a free Kana back, you get guaranteed cancel. Like, it's just a really, really solid combination of cards and effects that just allow you to gain a lot of free advantage. You get a lot of really efficient mill, and it's just a really good package overall. Yeah, just big part of what makes this deck so successful is the ability to just abuse the combination of these two cards to repeatedly just get free advantage. And yeah, again, Kana just playing into that front row center slot strategy that a lot of these cards have. So that is going to do it for our first box. We did get 4 double Rs, which can't complain, and we also did get this really, really good foil. This is an alternate art, by the way. I did not pull the normal version in this box, but this is an alternate foiling of the regular one, and I think this one looks exceptional by comparison. I think probably this is going to be one of the most sought after SRs of the set, as it is competitively viable and it looks beautiful. All right, with that being said, we have finished our first box. We are going to get right into our second box after some quick cleanup, so be right back. All right, guys, box number 2. Here we go. If this thing will work with me here. All right. Box number 2. So we got a going first card. Can we get a going second card? We did, and we got Akane. This is the level 2 bouncer that we saw in the first box. The artwork, that is. All right, come on. High rarity cards, baby. Come on. Let's see some good stuff. Nothing here. Level 0 Ruby. What does this one do? If you have another show business character, this gets plus 1500 power, so it goes up to 3k. And then for each show business character in your level, this gets plus 1 level and 2k power. So it has the same scaling effect as like Shauna level 0 combo, but without, you know, the combo, the best part. I would say overall not a very exciting card, unfortunately. Oh. For our first SR, we have Anemone. Monemone.
Okay, don't hurt yourself.
So this card, what did this one do? This one searches for the 1/1 event, right? It searches or salvages the 1/1 event. And this 1/1 event is not very good. So I would say, unfortunately, this card is also not very good. That's what? On play, you can ditch one to search your deck for the event, and then when you play a climax, you can pay one to salvage the event. Yeah. For our rare, we have the level 0 Ruby. So this is the other half of the climax combo, the double climax combo with standby. Another big problem that I had with set 1 standby of Oshi no Ko was that there weren't very good ways to just discard a character from your hand outside of like the Akane Riko. And the problem with the Akane Riko was that if you were in the early game and you didn't have anything good to salvage off her effect, then you couldn't safely discard like a level 1 standby target. But this Ruby completely fixes that problem because she has on play, you can discard a show business character to just draw a card. So just get the standby target out of your hand, just draw something off the top, and we are just chilling. And this card also has a double climax combo, just like the level 1 Aqua and Ruby. When you play the climax on your climax area, you can bounce this back to your hand, choose one of your characters, and give it 1000 power and hand encore until the end of your opponent's next turn. Obviously, with the actual 1/1 combo, this is kind of redundant as it already has hand encore, but this can be really, really useful when combined with some of the higher level characters that you might want to standby out that do not natively have hand encore, such as the 3/2 from set 1, the one that is a 10/5, it's a global 15 to all of your other characters. That card does not have hand encore, and this can be quite a useful card to give it hand encore and allow you to just very easily keep it around for future turns in case your opponent is able to swing over it. And the fact that it basically works with any climax is also really, really strong. And it frees up that slot on your board by returning itself to your hand from the stage in order to bring out a standby character. Our next foil is going to be the 2/1 Ruby counter. I didn't talk about this when I pulled it because I have pulled this in the first box, but this card is just a counter that you can pay an additional stock in order to get the counter back from your waiting room back into your hand. The actual text says you can pay the cost. If you do, choose one room tour video Ruby in your waiting room, add it to your hand, and it can actually just target the copy that you just discarded. So you can do all of that with just a single copy of the card. Oh, here's one of my personal favorite one of my personal favorite cards from the second set. This 1/1 Ruby. So this is a level assist, and then also you can rest this card to top check 2 rearrange. And then if you have 2 or less memory, you can also choose a copy of the level 0 I from set 1, the double R, in your waiting room, and you can put it into memory for free. And so even in decks that don't run or don't need to run the 0/0 I, this card can be very useful just for that top check 2 rearrange effect. Like, so for example, I actually like running this card in the 8 standby build with the like Ruby and the Aqua Ruby and things like that, because being able to top check 2 rearrange every single turn is just really, really strong, especially in standby where you really do not want to be triggering standby on your first attack. And so this allows you to play around that very nicely while also being a level support that buffs up your board, which is exactly what you want out of standby. You just want a big board. Here we have one of the rudest cards in the set that a lot of people at my locals, when this set first came out in JP, they were like, I'm going to play this card, and I'm going to be rude to people. And then no one played it. The level 0 Akane is a on-play, reveal the top card of your deck. If that card is a show business character, you choose one of your opponent's characters and reduce its level by 1 until end of turn. And then when this card attacks, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a show business character, here's a hint, you just looked at it. You can choose one of your opponent's front row level 0 characters and send it straight to the waiting room. So this can be used to just insta-kill level 1 characters on your opponent's board. Our first double R of this box is going to be, without a doubt, the most sought-after double R of this set, which is the level 0 I. And so this one is going to be almost exactly the same as the level 0 Itsuki from Quince set 1, for those of you who are familiar with Quince, in that it is both a level 0 reverser and it is a Fukujiro. And I explained earlier in the video what the Fukujiro ability is, lets you top check 4 for level 1 or higher. Additionally though, when this card uses that effect, if you have 2 or less cards in memory, you can choose up to 1 copy of this eye from your waiting room, which can be the copy that is literally resolving right now because it fell into waiting room in order to activate the effect. And you get to send it to memory. And so this allows you to accumulate a lot of free memory that you were not able to accumulate otherwise, especially considering a lot of the memory, I think all of the memory from set 1, almost all of the memory cards from set 1 required you to pay a stock. But this one, you could potentially get up to 3 memory for free without paying any stock. So really, really strong. And it also just contributes to the deck speed options available for Oshi no Ko. We have the bouncer. Yeah, this card just like sees play in like 3 or 4 ofs in like almost every deck. It's a really strong card overall. Oh, level 2 Taiki. How have we not pulled this yet? This Taiki, so earlier in the video I was talking about what cards I think could potentially have been on a restriction list for Oshi no Ko in JP if they got one. In my opinion, if I had to make a custom restriction list, it would be level 0 Kana and 2/1 Taiki. So let's describe what the Taiki does. This card says when this is placed on stage from hand, you can look it up to 4 cards from the top of your deck, and then you can add a climax from among them to your hand, and if you added a climax to your hand, you discard a card. So at worst, you can just mill up to 4 for free. If this card is in the front row center slot, this card gains 1500 power for each of your other show business characters, which allows him to go to 12k power cross turn if you have a full board. And again, playing into that whole front row center slot strategy. Level 0 Kana works extremely well with this Taiki, as it allows you to bounce this card back to your hand and potentially reuse that top check 4 effect to dig for a climax again on the following turn. And even if you miss, this dude is probably like 12k and is probably pretty hard for your opponent to kill. And so I think that the combination of these 2 cards just gives the deck like pretty unnecessary amounts of deck control, especially if the Taiki is finding the climax for the level 1 Kana and allowing you to repeatedly use that combo over and over again. You have the mill from the Taiki, you have the mill from the Kana, you have the mill from the Brainstorm, you have a lot of deck control, you can control your top deck with the Kana combo, and there's just a lot of really strong plays that you can do involving this particular Taiki card. And in my opinion, if I had to make a custom restriction list, it would be those 2 cards, and then potentially even the level 0 Akane, the one that lets you free summon from your hand. Those are, in my opinion, the cards that I think are what is the phrase I'm looking for? The biggest like red flags on my radar are those 3 cards. Very, very strong card. I honestly like underrated this card when the set first came out, and then I started playing it, and I'm like, this card is absolutely broken. Super, super strong card. There's really no reason not to run at least 1 copy in any deck that runs some amount of red, in my opinion. Just super strong. And here we have another new memory option, this level 1 I. So she gains 4k power during your turn, or when she attacks. And then when she becomes reversed, you can pay 1, discard a card, and put her into memory in order to top check 2, and then add up to 1 card from among them to your hand. It can be any card, and you don't show it. And then you put the rest in your waiting room. So this one does cost memory, unlike the I, but, you know, memory options are memory options. And if you're playing the Ruby deck, this might be a consideration for one of the memory cards you want to put in the deck. Another 1/1 Aquan Ruby. I believe we also pulled the Climax in the first pack when we pulled it. Anything cool here? Nope. Oh, here's the non-foil version of the level 3 Akane. As you can see, the foil version, or at least in my opinion, I guess. I don't know. You guys might have a different opinion. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. But I think the level 3's foil version looks absolutely insane by comparison. Night and day difference. Double rare. Okay, and that's another one that we haven't pulled yet. So this is the level 1 Akane. So this one is a level 1 JC. Normally with JC effects, you usually see them at level 0. JC effect being when your other character is attacked, you can pay 1 and sacrifice this in order to return that other character being attacked back to your hand. And so in order to gain the most value out of JC effects, in order for them to be like a +1, Typically, you want to be front rowing your JC so that you can attack with it and gain value out of it. And then if the JC was going to die anyway, you can sacrifice it for the effect, and then your other character being attacked gets bounced back to your hand, and you go +1. This card gains 3,000 power during your turn or when it attacks, allowing her to swing for 7k. So she allows you to do just that. You can very easily front row this card, and then you can use its JC effect on the following turn. This card is very useful when combined with the level 1 Akane combo, which we looked at earlier. It is a very high power offense card that you can stack the on reverse effects onto from the Akane Climax combo. And if in a situation where you are forced to frontline the Akane combo for any reason, you can use the Akane's JC effect, sacrificing yourself to get that combo back into your hand for a +1, and then potentially use combo again on the next turn for another +1. So very strong card overall. Only really sees use in that particular deck, but it is a pretty good player in that deck archetype. Oh, we haven't pulled this Brainstorm yet. It is a draw 2, ditch 1 Brainstorm, which is not something that we see every day. We did just see one in Fairy Tail, though. And then also at the beginning of your Climax phase, if you have 2 or more show business characters in memory, you get to give a character a 1k boost. Cool card. Here's the non-foil version of the Memcho level 0 foil that we pulled from the first box. This one right here. Come on, guys. I have one more foil. Channel your energy. Let me pull this Secret Plus Aqua and Ruby right here. How have I not? Have I not pulled this common yet? It's a level 0 summoner, but I don't think I've pulled this yet. All right, come on. Big Bunny, no whammies. It's a double R, level 1 Kana. Oh, level 3 Ruby. This is a rare that I definitely have been waiting for us to pull, so we can talk about this one. This one is a very nice level 3 utility piece. On play, you can sacrifice one of your other characters in order to salvage a Climax. Just a very good way to secure the Climax for your level 3 game. And it doesn't cost you a stock. You just sacrifice a character, so that's really, really good compared to a lot of other Climax salvagers. And then also, if you have 2 or more show business characters in memory, all of your show business characters in front of this card gain plus 2,000 power. So just another way to help your level 3 line to stay alive if you survive your opponent's finisher turn and can go for another turn afterwards. All right, so it does not look like we are getting 4 double Rs in this box. We are down to our last pack, and we only have 2 foils. So we are just going to hope that this foil is... We're going to go insane on this foil right now. One time for the one time. Here we go. Here we go. What'll it be? It's a Climax. I do see a frame on the left, though, which means I don't think it can be a triple R plus. So this is probably just a normal triple R. And this is going to be triple R boosting plan. This is the level 1 combo. Yeah, level 1 combo Memcho. I think this is pretty good. We'll take that. And those are going to be our foils for our second box. Now our final rare is going to be the 3/2 early play Kana. So this one is this one is your opponent has a level 3 or higher character early play, and she is an on play discard 1 heal to stock. And then during your turn, if you have experience 6 or higher, so that means that if you are at level 2, you are going to need to have 2 level 3s exactly in your level zone. This card will gain 5,000 power, and during this card's battle, your opponent cannot play events or backups from their hands. So she gets to swing for 14,000 uncontested and is an early play healer. Solid card. Requiring your opponent to have a level 3 is sometimes can be a little bit tricky. Sometimes your opponent just isn't playing a deck that is going to be early playing anything, and this card will just sit in your hand. In those matchups, I guess you would probably just level this card and then just use it for experience. So it's not all that bad. But yeah, solid card. And that is going to do it for our second box. We pulled 6 of the 10 double rares, so we will be right back with our usual double R showcase, show you guys the rest of the double Rs, and maybe if there are a couple other rares that I want to showcase you guys, we'll show you guys those too. And yeah, just be right back. Okay, we're back, guys, and before we go into our double rares, we do have a couple rares that I do want to talk about, starting with the level 0 Aqua and Akane. So this is going to be the helmet effect that we have now. Previously, we did have a deck helmet, which was the level 0 Kana promo, but now we have a waiting room helmet. So this card is going to be just the usual helmet effect. Discard a card and sacrifice this in order to salvage a character. And it also has on-play optional mill 3. This card does come with the added utility of, if you really need to, you can discard a card and sacrifice this to get this back, and then replay it, and then mill 3 if you really need to get your deck out of a bad situation. But just an overall solid card, overall. The other rare that I want to talk about is this level 2 Eye. So this one is actually going to climax combo with Idol from the set 1's trial deck, which goes with the level 3 Eye. And so this climax combo is basically meant to be like an Exodia setup at level 2. So for those of you who don't know how the trial deck Eye works, this card is a healer, and then she has a pay 1, ditch 1, burn 2, and gain bodyguard. And so the idea behind this card in the trial deck is you wanted to use 2 specific back row, and then I believe you played an event while you had those 2 specific back row that lets you bring out the 3/2 Eye onto your board at level 2. And then you use her with her climax combo to defend the board with her bodyguard effect. So the way bodyguard works is, let's say you have her in your front row center slot, all of your opponent's characters have to attack her. They don't attack the characters on the sides, they all attack her, as long as she's not reversed. And so this level 2 is going to play into this strategy, where it's a double combo with the same climax. When you play Idol, the climax, and this card is in your front row, and you have a full board, 4 or more other show business characters, you get to salvage a show business character, which I guess in context of this combo is probably going to be a counter to go with the bodyguard. And then you also get to choose one of your characters and give it 2,000 power until the end of your opponent's next turn, which obviously would be the bodyguard. You give the bodyguard 2,000 additional power, make it really, really big, make it really hard to kill, and then you salvage a counter off of this combo, making it even harder. And then when this card attacks, this gets plus X power until end of turn, where X is the number of your other show business characters times 1,000. So it can go up to like 12,000 power after climax. And then I think the 2/1 that you need on board for this is a level assist, so it could be 13k. So if you want to play for an eye-based strategy, you could do something with this card. It does require a lot of very specific cards, as you need both back rows, and then you need the event, and then you need this eye, and you need this eye. So it's definitely possible. And it could be a bit annoying if your opponent wants to play a board-based deck and they run into this 3/2 Eye and she's just ridiculously huge. So, yeah, that is going to be a pretty fun rare, I think, for those of you who are Eye enthusiasts. But now let's get into our double Rs, starting with the yellow double R that we did not pull, which is the 3/2 Ruby. So when this card is placed on stage from hand, you can draw 2 cards and discard a card. So she's a +1 on play. And then her climax combo is on attack with choice, experience 6. You discard 2 in order to burn 2. And then if that is damaged, you deal 2 a second time. So it's kind of like a Marine with an extra cancel burn 2 behind it, which can be quite potent. The nice thing about this card is that in context of the level 1 Memcho, as I mentioned earlier, Memcho, unlike Itsuki from Quince, does not have the help of the back row that gives you plus hand size. But thankfully, Ruby doesn't actually need very much hand because she replaces herself on play by drawing 2 and discarding a card. So I think that this level 3 package could go quite well together if you want to play an 8-choice deck using the new finisher or using the new combos. Over here in red, we have a couple double Rs that we didn't pull, these 2. First one is going to be this 2/2 Ruby. This one is intended to be played in the standby strategies, obviously, and you're often going to be playing those new standby climaxes, the ones that are basically just like the same climax. And so this one just is a 2/2 that you can bring out in the back row on the turn that you play your 1/1 combo. So this is a 2/2 7k. During your turn, If you have 2 or more show business characters in memory, this gains during your turn 5k power and hand encore. And then when this card's level 2 or higher battle opponent is reversed, you can pay 1 to salvage a character. So, not the most exciting. It's 12k on your turn, so it can beat over a lot of things. If you do happen to beat over an opponent's level 2 or higher character, you could get a +1 off of that. And then, as I mentioned earlier, I do like playing the 1/1 Ruby back row in standby, which gives you the top check 2 rearrange. So maybe you could rearrange your board in such a way that this card will swing, it will trigger standby, you will standby out a character, and then you can immediately pay that standby out with the effect of this to salvage a character. And then our final double R is going to be the new mainstay early play for Oshi no Ko, which is going to be the 3/2 Aqua and Ruby. This is the one that comes to Secret Plus. If you have 4 or more show business characters on board, this gets -1 level in your hand. If you have 2 or more other show business characters, which should always be the case if you early played this gets 1500 power continuously, bringing it up to 10k. And when it reverses a battle opponent, you can return this card back to your hand. So it's when you reverse the opponent's character with this. I've seen a lot of people that were mistaken when this came out in JP. That's when this card gets reversed. No, it's when you reverse their character. But that allows you to reuse this card multiple times in a row. If you manage to stay at level 2, you just are able to bounce this card back to your hand and put it back down. Additionally, if your opponent crashes into this, let's say they just don't feel like contesting your board that turn and they just crash into this, just try to deal some damage, you have the option to immediately just put this card back into your hand and then play it back down and then go for another heal on your next turn. So I think it's a really, really solid card overall. And yeah, just as I said, mainstay healer as of set 2. And then our final double R is going to be the 3/2 Akane. This is the one that goes with the changer that we got as an SR. So this card does not have an on-play effect. Let's talk about the changer first, because this card does have an on-play effect. When this is placed on stage from hand, you can draw up to 1 card and then choose one of your other show business characters on stage and give it +2000 power until end of turn. Usually, this kind of effect is draw 1 and give itself 2k, but because this card is a changer and it's going to be removing itself from the board, giving itself 2000 power wouldn't really make sense here. So it's going to be giving 2000 to another character. When the climax is played, which is a pants climax, if you have 2 or more other show business characters, you can sack this card in order to bring out the 3/2 Akane from your waiting room to the stage. And then you also give it 1500 power and anti-event for the turn. The 3/2 Akane herself has no on-play ability because it's basically baked into the changer. She gains 500 power for each of your other show business characters, bringing her up to a total of 11k cross-turn if you have a full board, 12k on offense with climax, and potentially even higher with supports such as the 2/1 Akane or the 3/2 Ruby. So she can be really, 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 really big. Her climax combo is on attack if you have 5 or less cards in hand. Very important that you have 5 or less cards in hand. I have seen people throw games because they had too many cards in hand. They were just steak too juicy, and they have thrown games by having too much hand. If you are one of those people, sorry for your loss. But yeah, so if you have 5 or less cards in hand on attack and you have 2 or more other show business characters, you can pay 1, discard 1. And then if you do, you perform the following action 3 times in a row. Your opponent mills the bottom card of their deck, and if it is a level 0 card, including climaxes, you heal 1 and burn them for 1. So this card can potentially be 3 heals and 3 separate burn 1s if your opponent is really unlucky. So this card kind of, it has the same condition to hit as the 3/2 Kana from the first set, the yellow B-Komachi Kana. But a big difference between the Kana and this card is that the Kana requires them to cancel, whereas this one does not. And in that way, this card does have a lot higher total potential to do a lot of damage. Because you do still have the attack that can potentially stick 3 damage in addition to those potential ping 1s. And if you're able to just eliminate a bunch of climaxes from the bottom of your opponent's deck, then that's just all the better, right? So basically, the way you want to be playing this combo, though, is, as I was saying earlier, the level 0 Akane, it really incentivizes playing with not a whole lot of stock and still making it work, because you have your brainstorm. It's a 5-card brainstorm. You could use this to get more cards than usual than you would with just a 4-card brainstorm, just because you're looking at more cards. So you get more hand. You could use the Akane's effect to discard cards from hand and make it so that your level 3s come into play for free. And this accomplishes multiple things at once. This not only allows you to save on stock, but it also allows you to discard the level 3 Akane into your waiting room so that you can actually change into it with your 3/2 changer. So it all just kind of goes together seamlessly to make this endgame package work really, really well, like one seamless machine. And that is part of the reason why I was saying earlier, maybe if I were to make a hypothetical restriction list, it would have the Akane potentially alongside the Kana and maybe the 2/1 Taiki. I think those are the 3 most prominent, really powerful, abusable cards in this deck archetype. But that is how the 3/2 Akane works. We'll have more on this package upcoming in our deck profile, which is going to be our next video on the channel. So if you guys are interested in meta Oshi no Ko, be sure to stay tuned for that video. Until then, we are just going to settle on that. I do have some foils to show you guys. We do have multiple rarities to take a look at. So let's see what we have here. So we have 5 SPs here. So we have the level 0 Kana. We have the level 3 Ruby, which is going to be an alternate art. Level 0 Memcho is going to be... It's the same art as the SR that we pulled earlier, but it's going to be with the stamp. These are all character stamps, by the way. They're not character signatures stamps. These are not the voice actor, voice actress signatures. I believe those ones are only on the SSPs. Yeah, they're only on the SSPs. We have the level 1 Akane, and then we also have level 3 Aqua. For our SSPs that we have here, we have the level 0 Aqua, we have the 2/2 Ruby, 1/0 Kana, 1/0 Memcho. Go ahead and just move this slightly, 1/0 Memcho. And then for our Secret Plus, we have 3/2 Ruby and Aqua. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at that again. We showed this at the start of the video. It has that blue for Aqua and the red for Ruby. Really, really aesthetically pleasing. Definitely the chase card of the set. Then we have a couple RRR pluses. We have the level 1 Kana and the level 1 Memcho. This is the one that we pulled the RRR of. The level 1 Kana's RRR plus and the level 3 Akane's RRR plus, I expect to be the 2 most sought after cards in the set, behind the 3/2 Aqua and Ruby. Oh, and maybe the 3/2 SSP Akane is probably also going to be really high. I think at least in JP, I think the 1/0 Kana SSP went down a bit. That one's okay. As far as top 5, it's going to be Aqua and Ruby, and then the level 1 combo, level 3 combo, and both of their Climax RRR pluses. Like, those are going to be like the most sought after cards probably in the entire set. Oh my god, dude, there's a lot of really, really good foils in this set. Level 0 I SSP as well, because this I comes SSP. Yeah, just a lot of really, really nice high-profile cards. Let us know down in the comment section which of the foils you are most looking forward to trying to pull in your Oshi no Ko boxes, because there are a lot of really, really good ones that you can get out of these boxes. But that is going to do it for our box opening video. Until our next one, which is going to be our deck profile, this has been Randall, aka Shizakats, on Tressa's Collectibles channel, and we will see you guys in the next one. Bye!